today. Sasa.
Yes.
So we have our visitor at the right, and I wish we welcome him. Before we welcome him, I will ask one of us that is filled with the Holy Spirit to open the session with the word of prayer.
We thank you for the gift of every this morning. As we're going to start this session, we'll open our minds so that we can understand whatever our teachers and our speakers are going to tell us. Guide us to our Lord and be thankful to you in the evening. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray to you. Amen.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Naendelea vizuri. Yes, mimi ni mwalimu wa wasichana. Kwa hivyo nimezoea wasichana. So madam, don't worry, even if they are polite, because I also teach girls. I'm part of Nyamira Girls High School. I was in some school called Bagamik Secondary School from Form 1 Form 4. But that's where I passed the exam. I made a personal decision at Form 3 that I wanted to pass. And I passed alone in that school. So that is why I'm telling you that passing exam is an individual decision. Most students, and especially those in boarding schools, think that they are learning for their parents. How do they do that? Maybe they judge their parents based on shopping. And nimepewa shopping kidogo, sasa mimi ndio nimepewa shopping kidogo, sasa acha mimi nitaanguka. Nitamwangukia hiyo mtihani. Finally enough, sometimes your parents might not even live to see you doing homework. The person you are passing or failing for might not even live to see you doing Form 4. Or you might do Form 4 and then he dies the following year. So that is where now life starts teaching you that you are studying for yourself. So passing exam is personal decision. Passing biology is personal decision. And making your life better is personal decision. Yes. So that is the introductory remark. Now let me go to biology. Biology is very simple. Very interesting. Very coherent when you're reading it. It really flows. And many times, when you take a textbook to read biology, you don't find it difficult. However, when an examination is brought, sometimes you do a paper and see, biology is hard. But when the results come out, you start blaming the teacher. How a little biology was big mark the These teachers of biology are very petty. These teachers of biology wanakaza sana. See, those are some of the things you say. That is when now the results are against your expectation. Okay? Now the question is, why does biology result always go against students' expectation? That is what we are going to handle today. How you are supposed to be answering questions in biology, how you are supposed to interpret biology questions, and the mistakes you are supposed to avoid when you do biology exam. Otherwise, biology is very easy. It is very simple. But what makes students fail in biology is one, rushing to answer a question without understanding what the question demands. Two, failing to master simple biology concepts. And three, laziness. How frequently do you go through your biology notes? How frequently do you consult your biology teacher? How frequently do you revise biology questions, past biology questions, to make yourself aware of the modes and techniques of setting biology? So those are some of the issues we want to look at today. And then, after this, we are going to ensure that we include everyone on board. We are going to have an interactive session. When I talk about interactive session, I'm not going to talk here as a preacher, as you listen. Sometimes you're also going to participate in this process. So that we learn. Otherwise, you feel free to ask questions. Where you have doubts, clarification must be made. And then we all aim at getting a good grade in biology. Now, our talk today is going to revolve around examination techniques in biology. We are going to look at setting trends, and we are going to look at tested scales in biology. So that when we look at a topic, for example, we ask ourselves, what are the crucial areas in this topic that a student needs to look at? And how do you go about these areas? So I want us to begin by looking at tested skills in biology. And there are very many. We are going to begin with spellings in biology. Most of the time, a question is asked in biology, you give the answer, and then you don't get the answer because the spelling you gave is wrong. What I want to do here, I want to pick some few biology concepts, ask you to give their spellings, and then we are going to go through them together. Now, I want us now to stop there for spelling. Now we are going to do marking, okay? Yes. That is the marking. Huh? Oh, kuna ingine hapa? Yes. Now, let us go to each and every one of those and find out where those students went wrong. Okay? Yes. Now, for reading, this is correct because the first N for reading enzyme is double. So this one is okay. Now, let us go to pancreas. When you are writing pancreas, when you are spelling pancreas, there is no E at the end of this. So that is what made this thing wrong. Pancreas does not have an E at the end. So it ends at the S. Then cholecystokinin. This is reading cholecystokinin, but I pronounce it as cholecystokinin. So this is the correct spelling of that. That is the correct spelling of this. So this one is wrong. Now, erector pili muscle. The first conspicuous mistake here is the existence of a double N. Erector pili is single L. So that is the first thing that makes this one wrong. Then secondly, erector. Erector is so it is erector pili muscle. So this is what makes it wrong, plus even the spelling of erector, which I did not expect. I expected you to have a double L here because that is the common mistake the students make. It is supposed to be a single L, not double. But erector is T-O-R. So take note of that. Then this one, I know the trap here was the silent N that most students seem not to be aware of. The correct spelling for this word is this. That's why it has L. N. That N is always silent. And therefore most students don't check where that N is. So after this, pick your KLB book. Even if you have it there, find out this, there's an N here which is always silent. And because it's always silent, most students don't talk about it. So this conjunctiva or conjunctiva, there's an N here. Most students don't take note of that N. And therefore when I was telling you to spell this, I knew you will forget this N. That is where now the trick was here. Now let us move to this one. This one is inverted. And it has a double N at the end. So that is where things went wrong here. There is no double N, and then the W comes after A, but it is the A that must come after the W. That is where the problem went wrong. Now come here. The only thing that is making this thing wrong is the absence of a double N. There should be a double L there. That is where the problem was. Then when you come to this, so this one is now this. This one is an A, not a U. Stop. Yeah, so that is where things went wrong. Now again, I want to remind you of some terms which I did not ask you to spell, but they're also very necessary. You know this bone which is found in the upper arm, this one, between the scapula here and the ulnar radius, there is this bone called humerus. Most students asked to spell humerus always do this. You see that? Yes. There is no O here. This is the correct spelling of humerus. Let us now move to what we call singular and plural in biology. Sometimes, most students fail to look at what we call the stem of the question. The stem of the question is that part of the question which reveals to you what the question really wants, or what we call the demand. It reveals the demand of the question. Now, many times, you fail to follow what the stem of the question wants, you are going to be irrelevant. And once you are irrelevant, you don't expect to get the marks. Let me give you an example. Someone asked you, name the organelle found in plenty in actively respiring cells. You know, most students will fail to read the word organelle. After seeing the question that the organelle found in actively respiring cells, most students are always accustomed to saying mitochondria. So you write mitochondria there without checking what did the stem of the question demand. The organelle. So that is singular form. So if you write mitochondria, you're wrong. So the answer to that question should be mitochondria, because it is talking about the organelle. Some students also, the examiner draws the organelle here. And then you are asked that the following is an organelle obtained from a cell. Then you are asked, name the organelle. Most students, because they are accustomed to say mitochondria, he or she does not even bother to determine that this is just one organelle. and you still find the answer like mitochondria. Then you leave the paper saying, biology is very simple. Ile karatasi ilikuwa nzuri, naona nikipata kama mbaya sana ni 60%. But you didn't consider this just one organelle. So this one would qualify as a mitochondrion, not mitochondrion. But then, another thing in this organelle that students are always commonly making, the mistake that students commonly make in this one also. You know, a mitochondrion has got two membranes, okay? The outer membrane and the inner membrane. The inner membrane is always folded to form what we call crystalline, which offer a large surface area for attachment of respiratory enzymes. Okay? Most students are accustomed to mentioning this as crystalline. Now, the examiner can just do this. The examiner will do that and label it X, and then you ask, name the part labeled X. What is the part labeled X? Yeah? You are saying the part labeled X is called crystalline. You have just fallen in the trap that I said. I know you are always accustomed to saying crystalline. But it doesn't occur to you sometimes that crystalline is a plural form. What is the singular form for crystalline? It is crystal. So, the singular is crystal. Then, the plural form is now crystalline. So you see, if you label this one as crystalline, wrong. Because we are giving plural, but what is pointed at is singular. So you need, in biology, you need to know some of these biological terms that end with A as singular, but for them to be plural, you just add letter E. So this one is one of them. Another one, we have vertebra. But if you want to make it plural, you just add an E. So it becomes vertebrae. So you need to get used to such terms so that when you get them, you don't get confused. There are biological singulars that for you to make them plural, you just add letter E. Now, there are also some groups of biological words that when singular, they end with MA. But to make them plural, you add T to them, TA. For example, the plural form of this word is just adding TA. So stomata becomes the plural of that word. Then we also have a word like chiasma. There's this part found in the phloem tissue. We have what we call plasmodesma. There are words in biology whose singulars ends with UM, but the plural now replaces UM with the letter A, and that becomes a plural. For example, there's this one called flagellum. That is the singular form. The plural form now will be flagellum. So those are also some singulars and plurals in biology. I want to conclude that area by saying that whenever you get a question in biology, ask yourself, is this question requiring the answer to be given in plural form or singular form? So give the answer in singular form if the question demands so. But if the question requires plural form, also give that answer in that regard. The next point skill we will look at in biology is called definitions in biology. Definitions in biology, that will be our point number 3. You can be asked to define a term in biology. Then one person makes a definition of one sentence. He or she gets the answer. Another person makes a definition of 2 sentences. He or she gets the 2 marks. Another person makes a definition of 3 sentences and also gets the 2 marks. Now the question is, how long should be a definition in biology? The answer is, in biology, we don't look at the length of the sentence. What we are looking at are the keywords. Example number 1. Can someone define for me the word respiration? Now, the first keyword in that definition is chemical breakdown. Of food substance. That is the first keyword in that definition. Why chemical? Do you know the process called mastication? Yes. That is what you call chewing, okay? Yes. Mastication is a physical breakdown of food substances. Yes. So you don't just say that food substances are broken down. You must be very specific because it is not only in respiration that food substance is broken down. In digestion, we have physical breakdown of food by the teeth called mastication. So a keyword, the breakdown of food only becomes relevant if you say that it is chemical breakdown of food substance. Okay? Apical dominance. What is apical dominance? I am seeing apical dominance in this compound. I'm seeing apical dominance and how it has been broken in this compound. In your compound here, you have broken apical dominance somewhere. What is apical dominance? Apical dominance, yes?
An apical dominance is just the growth of the lateral buds due to concentration of the oxygen hormone in the stem.
Is it the growth of lateral buds or the inhibition of that growth?
Okay, I know it that concentration of oxygen hormone in the stem inhibits the development of the lateral buds.
Concentration of oxygen hormone in which part of the stem?
In them.
Good. Apical dominance is the inhibition of lateral growth. So keyword number 1, inhibition of lateral growth by the apical bud. I want to use the last example of definition of osmosis. Hii imesumbua wanafunzi sana sana. How do you define osmosis? Yes?
Osmosis is the movement of water molecule from a region of high water concentration to a region of low water concentration through semi-permeable membrane.
Correct. Now, I want to shorten that definition. So, yes. I want to make it something shorter so that you remember it. Define osmosis as the movement of water molecules from a hypotonic solution. Movement of water molecules from a hypotonic solution to a hypertonic solution. Movement of water molecules from a hypotonic solution to a hypertonic solution through a semi-permeable membrane. Movement of water molecules or solvent molecule from a hypotonic solution to a hypertonic solution through a semi-permeable membrane. So when we talk about hypertonic, that is a solution with more of what determines the concentration of a solution. And what determines the concentration of a solution is a solute. So that is a solution with more solute but less solvents. That's what we call a hypertonic solution. We are saying that what determines the concentration of a solution is a solute. So, not a solvent. So, this solution, which has got more solute, is therefore described as highly concentrated solution. And a highly concentrated solution is called a hypertonic solution. This solution with less solute is a lowly concentrated solution. And a lowly concentrated solution is a hypotonic solution. Which formula do you follow when you are answering a question on formula number 1, concentration gradient? Formula number 2, direction of movement. Formula number 3, process. You see that? Anytime you are describing an osmosis process, ensure you follow this formula. In biology, we have 3 types of comparative equations. These comparative equations can either come directly, then these comparative equations can also come in a manner that you are told to distinguish between 2 things, or these comparative equations can come in a certain manner or in a context. No one tells you, no one will use for you the words compare. But in the question, you are expected to compare. So we want to look at all those 3 types of comparative equations in biology. So let us start with the comparative equation in which you are told to distinguish between. Distinguish or differentiate. Between. This one is always 2 marks. And you use the word while. And as you use the word while, what does distinguish between or differentiate between mean? That one simply means that you give the meaning of each of the terms you have been told there and contrast them by using the word, or connect them by using the word while. For example, distinguish between transpiration and guttation. Let us use that example. Distinguish between transpiration and guttation. Distinguish between transpiration and guttation. Now, distinguish between always means give meaning of each and connect those meanings using the word while. So, in this one, you are going to define transpiration After defining transpiration, you are going to use the word while and then you define gradation. So your answer there will be transpiration is the process by which plants lose water in the form of water vapor. Is the loss of water in the form of water vapor by plants. Process by which plants lose water in the form of water vapor, while gradation is the process by which plants lose water in form of water droplets. Plants lose water in form of water droplets through special pores called hydratons. Plants lose water in form of water droplets through special pores called hydratons. So with that, you would have given the meaning of you will have differentiated those two terms, transpiration and gradation. So let us agree that when you are asked to distinguish between, you are just going to give the meaning of each of those words and you separate or you connect them with the word line. So distinguish between or differentiate between means give the meaning of each. Therefore, that question requires you to know the definition or the meaning of those two concepts you are told to distinguish between. Okay? Then we are moving to the second comparative question. Here now, you are told to compare directly. For example, state the differences between cones and rods. State the differences between cones and rods. Now, as you are giving the differences between cones and rods, remember we have structural and functional differences. So I want to concentrate in all the differences, but later on I will specify that this is a structural difference and this one is a functional difference. Now, whenever you get a question asking you to give or state the differences between two things, first of all, draw a T table. T table haimaanishi eti unachora meza na chai juu. T table simply means you draw a table that is T-shaped. Now, the first one to be mentioned, you write on the left-hand side. The second one to be mentioned, you place in the right-hand side. So our question is, state the differences between cones. Cones is the first one to be mentioned, okay? So we write it here. And rods. So the second one, we write it in the right-hand side. Now, having written that, we now go to the differences. What are the differences between rods and cones? By the way, we memorize the syllabus.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what are the differences between rods and cones? Differences between rods and cones. Remember, we are doing revision. Differences between rods and cones. Yes?
Cones are sensitive to light.
They are? I'm not getting it properly.
They are sensitive to light.
They are sensitive to light. All of them are sensitive to light. All of them are sensitive to light. All of them are sensitive to light. It just depends on the type of light. Do you know, by the way, rods and cones are called photoreceptor cells. Do you know what photoreceptor cell means? My friend there, who has just answered the question, rods and cones are called photoreceptor cells. Do you know the meaning of the term photoreceptor? Photo always means light, and receptor comes out to receive or to perceive. So cones and rods are cells which receive or perceive light, and therefore you are saying that cone is sensitive to light. Rod is also sensitive to light. It's a photoreceptor cell. Photoreceptor means light sensitive cell. So that's why are you getting why your response is wrong? Photoreceptor means light sensitive, and both cones and rods are photoreceptor cells. So you cannot say that cone is sensitive to light while rod is not sensitive to light. That is not true. All of them are sensitive to light. One is sensitive to which type of light? Light of high intensity. Another one is sensitive to light of low intensity. So all of them are sensitive to light. Now let us go to differences between cones and rods. Yes.
Cones have a pigment called iodopsin, while rods have a pigment called rhodopsin.
Yes. Cones have got a pigment called iodopsin, while rods have got a pigment called rhodopsin. Then another difference, na ukiangalia kitabu na uniambie kama unaniambia inafaa kutoka kwa kichwa. Another difference between rods and cones, that means people are not reading the topic of response. Well, difference between rods and cones? Yes?
Cones have sensitive color and rods have insensitive color.
So what you say, cones are sensitive to color while rods are not sensitive to color. In fact, I think that's what that friend of mine wanted to say when she was saying that cones are sensitive to light. That light, both of them are sensitive to light. But now, cone is sensitive to color, while all perceives color, while rod does not perceive color. So cones perceives color. This one does not perceive color. Another difference, yes?
Cones perceive light of high intensity while rods perceive light.
Yes. Cones perceive light of high intensity, while rods perceive light of low intensity. Another point, another difference between cones and rods. Yes?
Cones have visual acuity.
Cones have which type of visual acuity?
We just know visual acuity.
Visual acuity. Hata ile ingine, hata rods iko na visual acuity. So you have to differentiate them. Which type of visual acuity? Anyone to make that point? Yes? Yes. Cones have high visual acuity. High visual acuity. While this other one has got low visual acuity. Another difference between cones and rods? Yes?
Cones lack retinal overlays.
Very good. Cones lack retinal convergence, while rods have retinal convergence. Kuna point moja bado imebaki hapo. There's still one point you've not mentioned. One point. Who can remember it? Now the point you've not mentioned here is that cones are concentrated at fovea centralis, while rods are widely distributed on the retina. Sawa. Now I want you to look at this diagram here. If this is the eyeball, cones are only found here. So this is the part we call fovea centralis. But rods are widely distributed on the retina. You see that? So cones are only found at this part only, at the fovea centralis. But rods inapatikana everywhere in the retina. So, now, how many points do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for retinal convergence. Sasa unaona hiyo point namba moja. Concentration of that this one has got pigment called iodopsin, the other one rhodopsin. Are you seeing that point? Before it, using a red pen, write S. Then the one perceives color, that one write F. Then this other one for high intensity light, F. Then high visual acuity, F. Then lack of retinal convergence, that one is S for SAR. Then the other one for concentrated fovea centralis, S for SAR. Do you have that?
Yes.
If you can go, fovea centralis quick. Concentrate that. Cones are concentrated at fovea centralis only. Rods are widely distributed on the retina. So this part here called fovea centralis, this is where we have all the cones. All the cones are only found here. As you go, but rods are everywhere in the retina. That is the difference we are talking about there. Have you got that?
Yes.
Now, there are those S and F. Now, the ones that you marked S, those are structural differences. The ones you marked F, those are functional differences. So if someone asks you, state the functional cones and rods. So you only say mention this one with F. But if you are asked to state the structural differences between cones and rods, then you say the ones you mark S. Now, I know there's a point you don't understand here. And maybe you are forgetting fast. Which point is that? Huh? and there's a point you don't understand in those cases, and you are not asked. Can you reveal that point? Yes. That high visual acuity. When you say that something has high visual acuity, that one simply means that it sees things clearly and can distinguish structures properly. Do you know that there are some people that, if for example you do this, and you ask them, how many white spaces are in between those strips? How many white spaces are in those strips, are between those strips? So you must get together and say one. They are 15 in. This white space and this white space, they are two. Now, having high visual acuity simply means having a clear way of seeing things which are structures which are different from each other. It's just like, do you remember what we call resolving power or high resolution in a microscope? Yeah. The ability of microscope to distinguish between two structures lying close together are separate. So when you have ability to see things so clearly, we say that you have got high visual acuity. You know something like road. Road does not perceive color. So if you are looking at something and you are unable to see its color, do you say you are seeing nothing clearly? But if because cones perceive color, you can look at something when the photoreceptor cells of the cones are stimulated and you see its color. So you are seeing things more clearly than the person who cannot see the color. So that clarity in seeing structures is what we call visual acuity or high visual acuity. When that clarity is not provided, then we say that is now low visual acuity. Still, the Holy Spirit is telling me there's a point I don't understand it. Yes. Exactly. That's where I was headed. Having retinal convergence and lacking retinal convergence. Wanafunzi wengi hawaelewi hiyo kitu ni nini. Na ni kitu rahisi kama bei ya omena. Visual acuity and lack of visual acuity is very, very easy. Now, let us come to this structure of the eye, and I want you to look at this. If this is the eyeball, we have some nerve cell which will carry the impulses generated at the eye to the brain for interpretation. What name do we give that nerve cell? The nerve cell which carry impulses from the eye to the brain for interpretation. What is it? The nerve cell which carries impulses generated at the eye to the brain for interpretation. How do we call that nerve cell? Yes? It is called optic nerve. So, all impulses generated at the eye are carried by the optic nerve to the brain for interpretation. But then, what photoreceptor cells receive light to generate these impulses? Cones and rods. Now, how do we understand this concept called having retinal convergence or lacking retinal convergence? When photoreceptor cells such as a cone generate the nerve impulse. For us to talk about retinal convergence, we have to ask ourselves, how is that nerve impulse generated at the retina traveling to reach the optic nerve? That is what will make us say that a photoreceptor cell has retinal convergence or does not have retinal convergence. So we are starting by saying that for us to determine whether a photoreceptor cell has retinal convergence or does not have, we need to ask ourselves, how is that photoreceptor cell transporting its impulses to the optic nerve? Yes. Now, for cones, each cone has its own bipolar neuron which carries impulses to the optic nerve. Si tulisema swali ni kuwa inapelekaje impulses to the optic nerve, sindio? That is what will make us know whether a nerve cell, whether photoreceptor cell has retinal convergence or lacks it. So I am now answering the question that for cones, each cone will have its own bipolar neuron which will transmit its impulses to the optic nerve. So if this one is cone, to say very dot is a cone, it will have its own bipolar neuron that takes its impulse to the optic nerve. This dot is also another cone. It will have its own bipolar neuron that takes its impulses to the optic nerve. This other dot, well, I am seeing you. This other dot is another cone. It will also have its own bipolar neuron that takes impulses to the optic nerve. So the fact that each cone has its own bipolar neuron that takes impulses to the optic nerve is what will make the cone to be said to be lacking retinal convergence. But still, let us go to rods first. Then we come back and conclude. So let's say this is a rod. We say they are distributed in the, they are widely distributed in the retina, okay?
Yes.
So if this one is a rod, this is another rod, this is another rod, this is another rod. Now, for rods, each rod does not have its own bipolar neuron that takes its impulses to the optic nerve. Instead, there's just one neuron in which all of them are converged to take the impulse to the optic nerve. So, we'll have one neuron going to the optic nerve. All these rods will assemble to this one neuron. Then it takes the impulse to the optic nerve. So what did we say? That if you want to know whether a photoreceptor cell has retinal convergence or lacks retinal convergence, ask yourself this question. How does that photoreceptor cell take its impulses to the optic nerve? Is it taking its impulse to the optic nerve by having its own bipolar neuron that is transmitting the impulses, or all of them share only one neuron to the optic nerve? So if you look at rods, each rod does not have its own neuron. We just have one neuron, and all rods are converged to that one neuron which takes impulses to the optic nerve. But if you have cones, each cone, this cone has its own bipolar neuron to the optic nerve. This cone has its own neuron to the nerve. This cone has its own neuron to the optic nerve. So they lack retinal convergence. They don't converge on one neuron to take impulse to the optic nerve. Each one has got its own neuron. But for us, there's only one neuron. So all of them converge on that one neuron to take impulse to the optic nerve. Let us now move to adaptation questions in biology. Many times you get questions. Adaptation of the leaves to photosynthesis. Adaptation of the ileum to its function. How xerophiles are adapted to their function. How mesophiles are adapted to their function. How the male reproductive system is adapted to its function. Whenever you see a question asking you to explain how something is adapted to its function, get to know this. That question must have 3 parts. Yes. Part number 1, structure. Part number 2, modification. Part number 3, function. So, any adaptation question must have 3 parts. Structure, modification, then function. So point number 1, I want to give you 4 points only. Now the rest you will go and follow that formula of mine. So to what the you test this and say that the male reproductive system has testes with numerous seminiferous tubules. Has testes with numerous seminiferous tubules. Has testes with numerous seminiferous tubules. To increase surface area for sperm formation. The male reproductive system has testes with numerous seminiferous tubules. Testes with numerous seminiferous tubules to increase surface area for sperm formation or for sperm formation. Has testes with numerous seminiferous tubules to increase surface area for sperm formation. Now come to our formula. Testis is the structure. The fact that it is aligned with numerous seminiferous tubules is its modification. Then increasing the surface area for sperm formation is the function. That will now complete. Let us go and correct that one of testis and male hormone. So right there that has testis which are glandular. Glandular simply means they have glands, different glands, which are glandular to produce male hormones. Testes which are glandular to produce male hormones. Or if you don't say that, you can say they have testes lined with interstitial cells to produce male hormones. You can also say that it has testes lined with interstitial cells. Interstitial cells to produce male hormones. You know, male hormones are collectively called androgens. Okay? Yes. An example of an androgen is a testosterone hormone. That is a male hormone. Testosterone hormone is responsible for male secondary sexual characteristics. Okay? It has epididymis, which is highly coiled to increase the surface area, which is highly coiled to increase the surface area, highly coiled to increase the surface area for temporary storage of sperms. Highly coiled to increase the surface area for temporary storage of cells or of sperm, which is highly coiled to increase the surface area for temporary storage of sperms. So you see, epididymis is the structure. The fact that it's highly coiled is the modification. And then temporary storage of sperm is the function. Let us give the last point. I said I wanted to give 4. As the sperm duct, which is muscular, has the sperm duct which is muscular to convey the sperms to the urethra. A sperm duct which is muscular to convey the sperms to the urethra. Muscular to convey the sperms to the urethra. So the structure is sperm duct. Modification that it is muscular. Those muscles can contract and relax to move the sperm to the urethra. So conveyance of the sperm to the urethra is the function. Okay? You have said there that the mammalian skin has got malpighian layer with actively dividing cells that replaces the whole epidermis. Okay? So structure is malpighian layer, modification is actively dividing cells, and the function is replacement of the whole epidermis. Okay?
Yes.
You have also said that the mammalian skin has got malpighian layer, which consists of melanin producing cells that secrete melanin that screens the underlying tissue from ultraviolet rays from the sun. So the structure is malpighian layer. Modification is actively dividing cells, and then the function is production of melanin that protects the skin from dangerous ultraviolet rays from the sun. So the first word of caution we want to look at in biology is they and it. They and it. Now, before you start your question with they or it, you need to ask yourself, what message do you intend to give? Let me use this question to illustrate that. Right there, that explain how xerophytes are adapted to their habitats. Explain how xerophytes are adapted to their habitats. Explain how the xerophytes are adapted to their habitats. Explain how the xerophytes are adapted to their habitats. Have you read that? Yes. Now, whenever you get such a question, most students will be tempted to start their answer by saying they. So you say they have nail-like leaves to reduce surface area for transpiration. They have sunken stomata to reduce to accumulate moisture, reducing the rate of transpiration. They have deep roots which access underground water. Their leaves are reduced into spines to reduce the surface area adapted for surface area for respiration. All those points I've said are 0. Why are they 0? When you use the word they, you mean all the 0 points. Okay? So you are saying that all 0 points have deep roots which access underground water. Let me give you a very good example. You do know seismic? Yes. In the seismic, you know a deep root that can reach underground water depth. You also know cactus. Yes. Can that cactus have a deep underground roots that can reach the underground water? No. So that is why we are saying, in that question, if you start your statement with they, you will say all those points are score 0. Because not all 0 points don't have those things to talk about. So if you use they, you mean all of them. So that is why, if you have to answer that question, let us only give it 3 points. Let us answer it with 3 points. So say there, some 0 points have deep roots. Some 0 points have deep roots that access underground water. Some 0 points have deep roots that access underground water. Some 0 points have deep roots that access underground water. So you see that question, you have not left an examiner with any question. You have not said that all 0 points have deep roots. You have just said some of them. Okay? Yes. Another point. Some 0 points have leaves reduced into spines. Some 0 points have leaves reduced into spines. Some 0 points have leaves reduced into spines to reduce surface area for transpiration. Some 0 points have leaves reduced into spines to reduce surface area for transpiration. Another point. Some 0 points have succulent stem with parenchyma cells, with numerous parenchyma cells. Some 0 points have succulent stems with numerous parenchyma cells or parenchyma tissue. Some 0 points have succulent stems with numerous parenchyma tissue for water storage. Succulent stems with numerous parenchyma tissue for water storage. So, those 3 points have taken care of the fact that those features we are mentioning are not possessed by all 0 points, but some of them. So those ones are correct. But if we just say they means all of them. So if we check and find that some 0 points do not have those features we are talking about, we are going to make all those points wrong. So in a question that talk about some adaptations of plants to their habitat, please don't use the word they them. Say some of them, okay? Yes. I want to add that word of caution of they and it. And I move to the second word of caution, which is called lack of. Lack of. Now, this word of caution called lack of, don't use it when you are describing insufficient amount of some nutrients, some enzymes, or some hormones in the body or in a cell. So, for example, if I ask you what causes night blindness, what causes night blindness? Huh? Lack of? What causes night blindness? Lack of? Vitamin D. Which vitamin? What causes night blindness? Inability to see properly at night. Lack of? Lack of vitamin A. Now that statement is wrong. The issue of vitamin A is just correct. But using the word lack of makes it wrong. Do you know why? When you say lack of, it means not even a particle of that which you are talking about is present. And if you are told that someone has got night blindness, which experiment have you carried out to establish that this person does not have even a drop of vitamin A? Yeah? Wewe umejuaje huyu mtu hata one drop of vitamin A yuko bila yako? Or I ask you what causes rickets and you say lack of vitamin D. Which experiment have you carried out to know that even a particle of vitamin D is not present in the body of this person? Hapo tunashinda, sivyo? Therefore, instead of using the word lack of, where you want to talk about some inadequate production of nutrients, enzymes, or hormones, use the word deficiency of. So when I ask you what causes night blindness, tell me deficiency of vitamin A. What causes night blindness? Deficiency of vitamin A. What causes goiter? Deficiency of iodine. What causes scurvy? Deficiency of vitamin C. What causes beriberi? Deficiency of vitamin B. What causes infertility? Deficiency of vitamin E. What causes let's say diabetes mellitus? Deficiency of insulin hormone. What causes diabetes insipidus? Deficiency of antidiuretic hormone. Word of caution, lack of, is done. Let us go to the third word of caution, which is called prevent or stop. Prevent or stop. Now, I have defined what I am describing as word of caution. Okay? And I've said that these are words that before you use them, ask yourself a question. What do I intend to mean? If you find that what you intend to mean is making sense, go ahead and use it. But if it is not making sense, wachana na hiyo kabisa. So, now, let us, yes? Yes? Yes, it comes as a result of failure or inadequate reabsorption of water in the kidney tubule, which is supposed to be regulated by antidiuretic hormone. When there's too much, when the osmotic pressure rises in the cell, the piscina regular is supposed to be stimulated to produce antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone will be taken to the kidney tubules, making kidney tubules more permeable to water. And that will make water to be reabsorbed back to the blood. Okay? But if there is very little production of antidiuretic hormone, or no production of antidiuretic hormone, the kidney tubules now be impermeable to water. With that, instead of water being reabsorbed back to the blood, all water will be removed in the urine. And as it is removed in the urine, it dilutes the urine and makes urine tasteless. And that is what we call tasteless urine in the condition, diabetes insipidus. And that production of large amount of dilute urine is called diuresis. And if you want to control it, bring a hormone which is against diuresis, antidiuretic hormone. So, that is what we are explaining there. Now, yes?
When maybe you want to do maybe you've been asked to check the signs and symptoms of a certain disease, like the liver cirrhosis. And maybe one of the symptoms is appetite. You don't have to mention the word lack of.
You can talk about low appetite or reduced appetite. But lack of means that thing is not there hata kidogo, hata chembe iko. So that's why we are saying that you need to be very careful when you talk about lack of. Okay? Yes. Of course you cannot be there that you don't have any feeling to any food. You might have the feeling to eating, but the feeling is seriously reduced. Okay? Yes. Now, I will talk about prevent or stops. So before you talk about this word prevent or stop, ask yourself, do you really mean to give a correct communication or a correct message? I'm giving this example of this equation. Right there, state the importance of blood clotting. State the importance of blood clotting. Importance of blood clotting. I want to get those points from you. Importance of blood clotting? Yes? Yes? Lots of? So you say prevents excessive loss of blood cells or excessive loss of blood. Now, when you use the word prevent in that one, the word excess or excessive must be there. So, do you know why? Clotting of blood occurs only after bleeding. So if you say prevents bleeding, wrong. Why? Blood clotting occurs when already bleeding has taken place. Okay? So we can just talk about excess bleeding. To show that yes, I have bled, which will compromise the transport of oxygen in my body. Okay? So as much as I bled, I want now to stop this bleeding. So you say prevents excess bleeding, but not that prevents bleeding. How will it prevent bleeding and already you have bled? Because how do we describe blood clotting? We say that during blood clotting, when tissues are damaged and bleeding occurs, bleeding exposes platelets to air. That's surgeon. Stop sleeping in the battlefield. When we are saying that platelets are exposed to air, exposure of platelets to air stimulates the production of an enzyme called thrombokinase or thromboplastin. Okay? Yes. Then thromboplastin initiates clotting by doing two things. Thing number one, it is going to neutralize heparin. There is something in your blood called heparin, which ensures that blood flowing in your blood vessels do not clot. So, it is called heparin. But when we require clotting, that heparin needs to be neutralized. And it will be neutralized by an enzyme called thromboplastin or thrombokinase. Okay? Now, after heparin has been neutralized, the thromboplastin will also stimulate the liver cell to produce what we call prothrombin. So, now, this prothrombin will be activated into what we call thrombin. And this activation requires calcium ions. Then thrombin will now convert. It will convert fibrinogen, which is soluble, to insoluble fibrin. Then fibrin will form a meshwork of fibers around that wound. So if this is the damaged tissue, fibrin will form a meshwork of fibers here. You see that? The meshwork of fibers will trap the red blood cell to form a clot. Then a clot dries to form a scar. And that is how blood clotting has taken place. So, blood clotting only occurs after bleeding has taken place to expose the platelets in air. So, if you are asked to state the importance of blood clotting, you cannot say that it prevents bleeding. How is it preventing bleeding and bleeding has not taken place? But you say to prevent excess bleeding. So the word, if you use the word prevent, excess must be there. Then the other point is prevent entry of pathogen through that damaged tissue. Okay? Yes. Prevent entry of pathogen through the damaged tissue. Sawa. If you ask, what is the role of intervertebral disc? It reduces friction and brings about flexibility of the vertebrae or the vertebral column. Note that it helps in reducing friction. It helps in flexibility of the vertebral column. No. Story help whatever night. So he appears to say avoid in capital letters. Tell us the real function of that thing. Don't tell us that it helps. It helps who? Or helps what? What is the role of cerebrospinal fluid in the brain? Nourishes the brain cells. It gives the brain cells the nutrients and oxygen. Then it also absorbs shock. Note that it helps in nourishing. It is helping what? In nourishing the brain cell. It is the one that nourishes the brain cell. Okay? And also, it is not acting as shock absorber. It is the shock absorber itself. Okay? So those are what we call words of caution. Because we are done with now words of caution, let us now move to what I'm now calling the step of question and marks allocation. That's now number 7. The step of question and mark allocation. the stem of question and mark allocation. Now, sometimes from the stem of the question, you can determine whether the mark allocation is 1, 2, 3, 4 or 10. So, in other words, what I'm saying, from the stem of the question, you can determine the number of responses you're supposed to make. Now, in studying the stem of the question, there are times when you are required to make many responses and get less marks. There are where you are required to make few responses but with many marking points and many marks. So we want to look at all those scenarios. Now, number 1, list 2 types of chromosomal mutation. 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 Now, underline the word 2. Have you underlined the word 2?
Yes.
Now, in biology, if we tell you to give 2, even if you know 10 responses, take the 2 that you are sure of and answer. So,
Yes.
don't say that because these things are 10 and the examiner only wants 2, let me now give him 3. So, then let's see how you are responding. You come and say 1, duplication. 2, substitution. 3, inversion. Unaona hiyo? Now, you thought you really knew so many responses, ndio? But no exam nataka tu 2. Wacha mimi niongeze moja ziwe. Now, do you know that in biology, we don't mark extra responses? The responses which you give outside what was instructed is never considered. So, mimi kama the examiner, when I come here, I will just look at the stem of the question. List 2. Serious? I'll come and say 1, 2. Then I draw a line here. After drawing a line, I will not even check what this is. But then I'll come and mark and say duplication is correct. Substitution, that's not a chromosomal mutation. That is a gene mutation. But then inversion is a chromosomal mutation. But the question asks you to give 2. So I'll only mark 2. I will not say that now, because this one is wrong but this one is right, now let me just give her this. Sit down, I will just give you the first one. So what are we saying here? Stick to the stem of the question. If the stem of the question says 2, give 2. If the stem of the question says 3, give 3. But don't give 4. Sawa? Haya. Kuna mwanafunzi mwingine atasema okay, these examiners think they are clever. Now I want to teach them a lesson. I want to put them in a dilemma that they will not know what to mark. Sawa sawa? Sasa unakuja hivi. Unafikiria wewe ni mkora sana. Unakuja unaandika hapa sawa. Sasa umeshika examiner, si ndio? university, and you have leveled them. Number 1, number 2, then number 3 this substitution. Sawa sawa? Si sasa umeshika examine. Hakuna kitu umeshika. Wewe ndio umeshikwa. Kwa sababu gani? We'll say in biology, what appears in line 1 is considered before we go to line 2. So I'll come here and say, this is line 1. Hii ni majini hapa. Hii ni majini. So this is line 1. How many responses did I require? 2. 1, 2. I will mark this, X that, and I will not bother about that. So, what appears in line 1 is considered first before you go to line 2. So what is in line 1 is the response. So, let me give you another. So if we say 2, give 2. If we say 3, give 3. Now let me take you to somewhere which is more painful than that one. Write this question. Write this question. In a farm, a pure breeding black cow was mated with a pure breeding white bull. In a farm, a pure breeding black cow was mated with a pure breeding white bull. Full stop. All the F1 generation were black in color. All the F1 generation were black in color. All the F1 generation were black in color. Full stop. Work out the phenotypic ratio. Work out the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio of the F2 generation. Work out the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio of the F2 generation. Work out the genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation. Unaona hilo swali? Now, from the question, the cow was black and the bull was white, see you? But all the F1 generation were black. What does that mean about the gene for black color? The gene for black color are dominant over the gene for white color, see you? Yes. Now, this will be you answering that question. Parents, okay? Parental phenotype. The female was black, senor. And the male was white. Parental genotype. Now, we are using capital B to represent the dominant gene, see you? Then small b and small b to represent recessive gene. Okay? Nimefanya kosa wapi? Nimefanya, yes? I am not? In the phenotype? Wrong. Now, when you don't put a crossing sign here, hata sasa uendelee kufanya kila kitu. Because without a crossing sign, it means that the gametes do not fuse. So that is wrong. And the crossing sign must be alongside the genotype. So, yes. No phenotype, no parent. So crossing sign should be here. I hope everyone is seeing this, huh? Yes. The crossing sign must be alongside the genotype. So, yes. Then we move to gametes. Then we put every letter in a complete cycle. Every letter in a complete cycle. Every letter in a complete cycle. And every letter in a complete cycle. So, then if, let me not see a soldier sleeping in the battlefield. If this one, if you take a stick from this one, we call the fission line. It must touch the two on the other side. See there? Yes. So this one with the first one will give us capital B small b. Now this one and the second one will also give us capital B small b. We are finished with this one. It has touched the two on the other side. See there? Yes. Now we go to the second one. This one with this one will give us capital B small b. This one with this one will give us capital B small b. This is the F1 generation. See, remember hiyo? But the question asked us to get the genotypic and phenotypic ratio of F2 generation. And if you are clever, don't copy those things until I tell you maybe do so. Now, the question asked us about the F2 generation, but this one is F1 generation. So we know that you get F2 generation by selfing F1. You know, selfing means you take the genotypes of the F1 generation and you use as a parental genotype of F2 generation. Okay? Yes. Alright. Tuendelee. Na nimesema don't copy those things. Mambo yanakuja hapo mbele. So you come and say parents, we have our female and our male. Okay? Parental phenotype, we are told that all of them were black. Okay? Parental genotype, now we use the genotype of the F1 generation. Okay? So we have a small capital B, small b, then now crossing sign. See there? And then also capital B, small b. That's all. Then we go to gametes. So gametes, we have this capital B, we put in a complete cycle. Small b in a complete circle, capital B in a complete circle, and small b in a complete circle. After that, as I had said earlier, if you pick one cycle here, it must touch the two cycles on the other side. See there? So first cycle touches that one, capital B, capital B. This this one touches the second one, capital B, small. Now we go to the second circle. This one and this one, we write, I want to write small b, capital B. No. Why? Why should see now hapa simeanza na small b. Alafu naenda kwa capital B. Why am I supposed to write small b and capital B? What is dominant? And now why should I not write small b, capital B? And yes, that's how it's arranged here. Yeah? For reading is just, see, unaona, see, after doing this, I read what is here. So I'm reading small b. So I want write small b, then I read capital B and I write it. Why am I not supposed to do that? Huh? Yes? What we do, we begin with, you write a dominant gene first before you go to recessive gene. So that's why despite us beginning with a small, we'll just write the capital then that we reverse. You write a dominant gene first, then you follow by a recessive gene. You cannot begin with a recessive then follow with a dominant. Then now the second one, they are going to have small b, small b. This is now the F2 generation. Now, what is now the phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation? This is black, see you? This is also black because gene for black color is dominant, see you? Yes. Don't say black is dominant. It is the gene for black color that is dominant. Then we say this also black because the gene for black color is dominant. But this is now white. So we are going to have 3 black curves to 1 white curve. So, then genotypic ratio. This one is on its own, see you? These two are on their own. Then this one is on the own. So we'll say 1 capital B into 2 capital B small b into 1 small b small b. That's now the genotypic ratio. Sawa? Haya. Nilikuwa nimekuambia usikopi hizi vitu, sivyo? Kwa sababu gani nilikuambia hivi? Let us go to what we are discussing. The step of the question and mark allocation. And we are talking about where if you are told 1, just give 1. If there are 3, just give 3. Don't give 2. Now, if you make a mistake of doing what I've done here, you know the question, we know what the question was saying. Yes. Get the genotypic and phenotypic ratio of F2 generation. No one asked you to get about the F1 generation, yes. But as a biology student, you know you need to get the F1 generation first and then you go to F2 generation. So if you give this answer like this, the examiner will say first response is the answer. So the examiner will mark this one wrong and leave that one alone. Now umepoteza 8 marks. Sawa? So what are you supposed to do? That's why I told you don't copy this thing. What you're supposed to do, you can pencil here. Ukifanya mtihani. Enda huko kwa nyuma ya karatasi. Fanya hii F1 generation huko. So that you get this genotype. After getting this genotype, if this is the space you're supposed to be giving your answer, after it, this is what you're supposed to give us your answer. Not this one that was here. But if you start with F1 generation, then you go to F2 generation, they'll say that first response is what is marked. So they'll mark the F1 generation wrong and leave alone that F2 generation. So that's why as I'm saying, if you get that question, enda huko nyuma ya karatasi, fanya F1 generation hapo, pata genotype. Ukishapata genotype, kuja hapa. Parents, this. Parental phenotype, both all the F1 generation were black, okay? Then parental genotype, this one. Then you do your crossing and then give the answer. So I'm saying, if you are not asked to work out F1 generation and I just ask F2 generation, don't work out the F1 generation in the space where you're supposed to be giving your answer. Do it somewhere else in pencil, get the genotype, wrap it, come and now do the F2 generation where you are supposed to be doing your answer. So, that is how sometimes giving some responses can mess you up. And I hope no one is going to make that mistake again. So, now, let us come to this as we are writing it. When we are doing a crossing, this is also a symbol of female. This one is a symbol of male. I have done it deliberately because some of you are always accustomed to beginning with the males first. Then they go to female and they think that is always the order. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. You can start with any of the parents. When it comes to phenotype, phenotype being physical expression of genotype, we can begin it using, we describe it in word, okay? But then when we reach genotypes, where we now give the gene, the crossing sign should be put alongside the genotype. So ukiweka crossing sign hapa, everything is wrong downwards. Ukiweka crossing sign hapa kwa phenotype, everything is wrong downward. Ukiweka big crossing sign that covers all of them, that everything is wrong downward. The crossing sign should appear where there is the genotype. So, when we are doing the marking, first marking point will be here. Have you written the correct genotype? Do we have the crossing sign there? You get your 1 mark. So, we go to where we get the second mark. Second mark is now where we have the gamete. Now, what will prevent you from getting this one? Unajua kitu unafanya? Because hii genetics, hii mwalimu alifunza sana. Unakuja unaandika hivi. Unaona hii? This cycle is incomplete, sivyo? Now, everything is wrong from that point. From this point downward, everything is now wrong. Sasa rafiki yangu, hakuna haja haraka haina baraka. Sawa? Sasa andika tu pole pole kuhakikishe your cycle is complete. So, to see that any broken part in this cycle. So, if we check that you don't have any broken part and you have enclosed the correct gene, we are going to give you your second point. Uko na alama mbili, si ndio? Alama ya tatu ni hapa. Hapa kwa fission lines. Now, what should you not do here? 1. Those fission lines should not hang. Unaona hii? This fission line is hanging. Haijashika hii. It must go and touch this circle. So if it hangs without touching the circle, everything is now wrong from here downwards. Sawa? Yeah. So it should just touch the cycle. Mistake number 2. The fission line should not pierce and get into the cycle. Sasa pia usifanye kitu kama hivi. The fission line imeingia ndani ya hii cycle. This is wrong. This one is also wrong. You should just touch the cycle, not harm, but not pierce to get into the cycle. Sawa? If that one is rotten, everything is wrong from this side downward. Sawa? So you just touch the cycle, not harm, but not pierce. If you remember that you have done that, you get your 3rd mark. Sawa? The 4th mark is now here. If you do those things like let's say you wrote a recessive gene before a dominant gene, or you changed some things here wrongly, you wrote to get. If you just write something like this, 3 to 1, that one is wrong. You don't score. It must be 3 black to 1 white. Even this one, if you say it is 1 capital B, 2 capital B, small b, and 1 small b, small b, then you now say that therefore it is 1 to 2 to 1. Wrong. It should remain in this form. Yes. So take note of that. So we are done with the first question on step of the question and mark allocation. Give what you are told asked to give. Don't give other information which you are not required to. So like if you ask F2 generation, don't do F1 generation in that space. Fanya mahali kwa penseli na kuja utuweke tu F2 generation working out here. Sawa? Another question still on mark allocation. You know there we are talking about where the step of the question is specific on the response to be given. So like 1, 2, 3 or 4, okay? What about where the step of the question does not specify the number of responses to be given? Write this question down. Name the products of life stage of photosynthesis. Name the products of life stage of photosynthesis. Name the products of life stage of photosynthesis. 1 mark. Name the products of life stage of photosynthesis. And it is 1 mark. Now, are you looking at the step of the question? Can you understand the word products? Products is in plural form, see you? And we are aware life stage of photosynthesis produces 3 products, see you? You're going to hydrogen atoms, adenosine triphosphate, and oxygen gas. Okay? Don't say oxygen. It must be oxygen gas. Don't say hydrogen. It must be hydrogen atom. And then we have adenosine triphosphate, which is human. See you? They are 3. But the question is about products and 1 mark. Do you know that 1 mark can misguide you to think that you're supposed to give just 1 and you get the 1 mark? Serious? But not our plural form products. So in this question, you only score 1 mark if you give all of them. In this question, you only score 1 mark if you give all those products. So the answer will be hydrogen atoms, oxygen gas, and adenosine triphosphate. Don't say unity. What which unity? Does it eat? Is it unity? It must be adenosine triphosphate. Hapo ndio tunapata alama moja. Naona mwingine amekasirika. Hizi zote na unapata tu alama moja. What was the step of the question? Product is plural. Ndio? But the mark is 1. Mention all those products. Sawa. Another question, similar. Name the product of anaerobic respiration in plants. Name the products of anaerobic respiration Plant. 1 mark. Name the products of anaerobic respiration in plant. 1 mark. Now, when you get that one, anaerobic respiration in plants will produce ethanol. It will produce carbon dioxide, and it will produce energy. So mention all this to get 1 mark. If you mention 1 and the question says products, you will not get all of them. So we have looked at 2 types of questions and mark allocation, where the examiner is specific on the number of responses you make. So, where we are saying if you are given 2, say 2, not 3. So, then you want the second one where you are asked many things, but the marks allocated are fewer. Just give all those many things you have been asked. So, now let's move to the third one. The third one is now where you are asked more or less something which is singular, but the marks are many. Okay? When you get a question where you are asked a singular thing and the marks are many, what do? Do you give that one response and they multiply to give you 3 marks? Never on earth. You must ensure that your answer has got 3 marking points. Can I give an example?
Yes.
Write this question. What is the role of sweat? What is the role of sweat in the human skin? What is the role of sweat in the human skin? 3 marks. What is the role of sweat in the human skin? And we are saying it is 3 marks. Now, if you look at what is that is like you're supposed to give 1 response, video. But no examiner will take up 1 response, multiply by 3, and give you 3 marks. Okay? Nekama. This normal mistake made in English. When you ask, what is your name? And then you say, my name. Most people make a mistake of saying, my names are Eve and Anna. But the question you ask is, what is your name? Okay? You are not asked what are your names. You are asked what is your name. So even if your name is 3 sentences, say my name is, and then say those 3 sentences. Don't make your name plural. There's nothing in English like what are your names. There's nothing like that in English. What is your name? So even if your name is 3 sentences, just say my name is Sandra, Deborah, Angeline, Florence, Atieno, Auma, Anyano, Odero, Okiem, Okiem. So if all those form part of your name, just say my name is and say all those. What is the role of sweat in human skin? The question is what is? Okay? But the answers are 3. So if you give 1 point, you will not get the 3 marks. So ensure your coin has got 3 marking points. So what is the answer to that question? You say water from or in the water in the sweat is evaporated. Water in the sweat is evaporated. Marking point. Absorbing latent heat of vaporization. Marking point. Hence, cooling the body. Marking point. So this answer of yours has got 3 marking points. You will get your 3 marks. But if you say that water is in the sweat is evaporated and stop there, you will not get marks there. So while this is what is the role of sweat, you must ensure you have 3 marking points to get the 3 marks. So now, yes. First of all, saying hell is wrong. 2, once you have said that it regulates body temperature. How does it regulate the body temperature? If you say it cools the body, that is a repetition of regulation of body temperature. Because what is regulation of body temperature? If the temperature goes high above the normal range, it is brought back to normal. If it falls below the normal range, it is again brought back to normal. That's what is called regulation. So if you say it regulates the body temperature, that one you have covered the point, so you just need to explain how does it regulate the body temperature. That's all. That is what is supposed to be, my friend. Now, that is what we expect to get there. So in simple, I'm trying to say, be guided by the stream of the question and mark a location in giving your answers. Where you are asked to give many and the mark is few, just give those many. Yes. Where you are asked to give the question is like suggested to give few, but the marks are many, give the many responses. No examiner is generous enough to multiply your marks and give you more marks if you have only given 1 point. So, let us move to point number 7. Is it number 7 or number 8? 8. Number 8. Initials, symbols, and formulae in biology. Initials, symbols, and formulae in biology. That is point number 8. Now, in biology, stop giving initials or symbols and abbreviations when you're giving your point. Now, write biological words in full. Except where you are dealing with dichlorophenol, indophenol. Do you know what you always call DCPIP? Yes. In full it is called dichlorophenol, indophenol. You are allowed to use abbreviations there. So you can say put 2 milliliters of DCPIP in the test tube. You are allowed to do that. Okay? But Now, there is this laziness that crops up in students. So the answer is supposed to be carbon dioxide. And now you want easy work. You want shortcuts in life. So unaandika hapa CO2. Unajua hiyo ni wrong. Do you know that this is wrong? Hey, you know that this is wrong? Ukiangalia hii. You know, CO2, you must write capital C and capital O. So this one here is the CO2. But this one is wrong. C capital, O capital. But if that's capital C and small o, that is wrong. That is why in biology we encourage you, please don't use those symbols that will confuse you. Write those things in words. So we are discouraging the use of symbols and signs and abbreviation except where we are dealing with DCPIP. Haya. Wacha tunaandika swali hapo. A form 4 student set to estimate. A form 4 student set to estimate the population of grasshoppers. A form 4 student set to estimate the population of grasshoppers. A form 4 student set to estimate the population of grasshoppers in a football field. Set to estimate the population of grasshoppers in a football field. Full stop. He visited the field. Captured, comma, marked, captured, marked, and recorded. He visited the field, captured, marked, and recorded 200 grasshoppers. Captured and recorded 200 grasshoppers. Captured 200 grasshoppers. Full stop. After 24 hours, he visited the field again. After 24 hours, he visited the field again and captured 348 grasshoppers. He visited the field again and captured 348 grasshoppers. However, he realized that 80 grasshoppers had previous marks. However, he realized that 80 grasshoppers had previous marks. However, he realized that 80 grasshoppers had previous marks. Full stop. Work out the population of grasshoppers in the football field. 4 marks. Work out the population of grasshoppers in the football field. 4 marks. Work out the population of grasshoppers in the football field. 4 marks. Now, which method is that? That is capture method. Okay? Yes. Now, Don't be tempted. Don't be tempted to start shortening the formula. In biology, the formula must be given in full and must be written in one. So just come and say population is equal to first mass times second capture divided by marked recapture. Sawa? Usikuja hapa na kuanza kusema population is equal to FM times SC over MR. Now, that will be population is equal to frequency modulation times some captives over married reckless people. Because who told you that FM only means first man? Or who told you that SC only means second person? So you have to write those things in full. So, you know, up to this point, najua kuna watu wala hawezi pata hilo swali. Up to that point, or someone is doubting me. Up to that point, nimeshawapea formula, sivyo? But up to this point, najua bado kuna watu hawezi pata hilo swali. Nani anajiamini? Yes, kuja. Kuja tuna kitabu chako, si tuangalie hizo figures kwa hiyo. Anyone with a contrary answer? Nani anafikiria hiyo si answer? Everyone is satisfied with that answer? That therefore means that if that question was brought here, the whole class would have scored 0. The whole class would have scored 0 if that question was asked here. Yes. You have a contrary answer. Huh? The formula is okay. So, that is what I said, that hata nikishawapea formula, kuna watu bado hawezi kupata hiyo. Sasa, jiulize hivi, nimekuja hapa leo day 1, I've never been in this area. So I came here on day 1. I wrote you, let's say you are 80, you know. I have made marks on your blouses. So, then after 24 hours I come back, I now find 150 people. Okay? Plus you 80 that I had marked. Now on the second day of my coming to Reru, how many people have I marked? First day I came, I found the issue of you. I made marks on your blouses. Second day I come back, I find 150 here with plus 80 with marks on their blouses. Now I do my counting and go home. If you are to pay me for counting people, how many people will you pay me for on the second day? Huh? How many? My friend, nimerudi hapa on the second day, sio? Nimepata wenye wako kwa hii room ni 150. Nikiwachungulia vizuri na kununua wale 80, nilikuwa nimetoa 80 of these 160 people have got marks on their blouses. Then I do my counting and go home. If you are to pay me for working on the second day, how many people will you pay me for? 7, isn't it? Yes. Because the 80 people out of this 150, I already marked. I had counted them. See? Now on the second day, you will just subtract the new people from the 150 minus those 80 that are counted. Sawa? Sasa hiyo nilifanya kila mtu akosee hapa. Tumesema after 28 or 24 hours, this student now got 348 grasshoppers. Serious? But you realize that 80 of these 348 are the previous marks. Now, so for you to get the second capture, you are going to take 348, you subtract 80. Bigger. 268. So therefore, your calculation should read 200 times 268 divided by 80. So, for second capture, you subtract the total capture on the second day from marked recapture. So, for you to establish what is got on the second day. And when I was giving you that question, I knew you were not going to get it. Because I knew that wewe utachukua the 348 on the second day and you learn all of them there. You are supposed to take the total for second day, subtract those that had been counted earlier and marked. So, and only deal with the ones which are newly marked on that second day. Because remember, the second day, the ones you had counted should not form part of your second day. So this is what you're supposed to have to get the answer. Lastly, calculate the magnification. Calculate the magnification of the wing of a cockroach. Calculate the magnification of the wing of a cockroach. Calculate the magnification of the wing of a cockroach whose drawing length is 10 centimeters. Calculate the magnification of the wing of a cockroach whose drawing length is 10 centimeters. Whose drawing length is 10 centimeters and the actual length is 5 centimeters. Calculate the magnification of the wing of a cockroach whose drawing length is 10 centimeters and actual length is 5 centimeters. So that is simple magnification without a microscope. So we are going to say total magnification is equal to drawing length divided by actual length. Sasa hapa ndio utapata someone who like shortcut. Anasema mg is equal to dl over n, meaning that magnesium is equal to daring lady over arrogant lady. This mg here, this magnesium. Then who knows that dl must just mean drawing length? Then this AL, who knows it must just mean actual. So you must write it in full. Yes. Now after writing it in full, let us go to elimination method. Hapa pia utapata mwingine anaandika 10 over 5. Once you've done that, everything is wrong. You must have units there. Sawa? So write 10 centimeters over 5 centimeters. In other words, at elimination point, you must have units. Sawa?
Yes.
But now when you're giving the answer, you leave along the unit and you begin with multiplication sign. So that is the answer. So whenever you are calculating multiplication, when you reach the elimination method, you must have units attached. So, and then formulas must be written in full. Tumekubaliana? Yes. Well, if you write video SPP, then in fact I will be coming to that. SPP, then you must underline this one. So, if you don't underline this one, then that statement is wrong. Even when someone asks you what causes malaria, and you say Plasmodium SPP, it must, the word Plasmodium, which must begin in capital letter, must be underlined and then followed by SPP. SPP is now not underlined. So, I will come back to that when I will be talking about what we call topic norms. Now, lastly, on that area, when you get a question asking you to calculate the respiratory quotient, don't say RQ is equal to ukishasema tu hii, you are finished. What is RQ? Who told you RQ must just mean respiratory quotient? I will say that you are getting wrong question. That is equal to volume of carbon dioxide produced divided by the volume of oxygen. There is no guarantee that RQ must just mean respiratory quotient. So what are we going to say? In biology, right formula says 4. So let us have respiratory quotient is equal to volume of carbon dioxide produced over volume of oxygen consumed. And by the way, do you know that people who don't know how to write carbon dioxide is sulfur? This one must be capital. If you put a dot here, that is wrong. If you put a dot in this, that is wrong. It must be capital I, capital V. So, it must be in a bracket. If you do something like this, that is equally wrong. So it must be carbon, capital I, capital V in the bracket, then oxide. Get to know that. Biology is very simple. No. So make this one 7, then have 1.347. So 1, 2, 3. So if it is 0.928, 1, 2, 3. Leave it at that point. So we agree that calculation of respiratory quotient should not be rounded off, and if it is rounded off, the answer must be given in 3 decimal places. That one is done. Let us move to number 9, which is giving alternative responses. Giving alternative responses in biology. Giving alternative responses in biology? Giving alternative responses in biology. Are you supposed to be going for supper? Not yet. Now today you are likely to go for supper a bit late. Because I must finish the points I plan to give here before I stop. Na najua mimi naenda Kisii. Sasa mimi nikitoka hapa naenda Kisii. I'll have a similar session with students there tomorrow, the whole day. So I am the one who should be very worried of moving out because the time I reach there. But I must finish what I plan to finish here. Now, giving alternative responses. Are you allowed to give alternative responses by using strokes or brackets in biology? The answer is avoid. So andika hapo kwa alternative giving alternative responses. Right there in capital letters, avoid. Now, why are we telling you to avoid this? Write this question there that name the part of the retina with high concentration of cones. Name the part of the retina with high concentration of cones. Name the part of the retina with high concentration of cones. Now, if you look at your textbooks, we have what we call the fovea centralis. Now, that fovea centralis is always stroked with something there. Ending with spot. So utafikiria fovea centralis. It is fovea centralis with what spot? Then you remember, oh, it is blind spot. And you write there, and you write it there. Now, your answer as at when it was fovea centralis was very correct. But now the demon that made you to insist that you must stroke that thing has now messed you up. In biology, if you use a stroke or a bracket, it means what you have written in the left hand side is the same as what is in the right hand side. Okay? Blind spot is not fovea centralis. Fovea centralis is called yellow spot. Which is here. Blind spot is this part here. Okay? So by adding this blind spot, you messed up this answer. Now the answer is wrong. Ndio maana tunasema wewe achana na hii mambo ya strokes and brackets. Just give your answer directly. So another question. Another question. What determines energy requirement in man? What determines energy requirement in man? What determines energy requirement in man? determines energy requirement in man? What determines energy requirement in man? Now, and then you want to give your answer, and you say, for example, you say sex. Okay? Then something comes to your mind. Sex. On this picture, you think I'm talking about sexual intercourse. Now, let me confirm to him that sex I was talking about. Then you write here, gender. Now, are you aware that the word gender does not mean the same thing as sex? Are you aware? In fact, the word gender does not exist in biology textbook. Angalia KLB from Form 1 to Form 4, utakutana na the word gender. Never. Because what is gender? You know, so many people, including adults, don't know the meaning of the word gender. When you talk about gender, people think that gender and sex mean the same thing. So that when you talk about gender equity or gender equality, you are talking about equality between sexes. Now, sex is the condition of being a male or female. Gender are roles assigned to someone because he is a male or a female. Roles is what is gender. So if you say a woman should cook because women are supposed to be cooking, that is now gender. Men should build houses and buy food because men should be, they are men and men should be building houses, they are males. That is now gender. Women should not go to school because with them they will be fed by their husband. That is now gender. So that's what we call gender discrimination. Okay? So gender are roles assigned to someone because he or she is a male or female. So gender and sex are totally different things. And in biology, the word gender does not exist. So if you say sex or gender, up to when you said sex, you are right. But now when you have this gender, it does not mean the same as sex. The answer is now wrong. What are we saying? Don't give alternative answers. Just give the answer you are sure of and forget about its other alternatives. So, that one is done. Let us move to the next thing, which is biological equations. Biological equation. Mtu ambaye atapata hii swali nataka kuuliza, atapata pesa. Atapata shilingi 200 yeyote atakayejibu swali hili. How many equations do we have in biology? How many equations do we have in biology syllabus? And when I talk about biology syllabus, I mean from Form 1 to Form 4. How many equations do we have? Yes. 3, no. Yes? No. Yes? No. Yes? Huh? 11? No. How many equations? Yes. Huh? No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. 15. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Huh? 26. No. Yes. ya mwisho. Haya, chagueni mtu ambaye mmeamini. And the last. Wewe sasa tafuta the remaining 22 in between them. So, the first equation in biology syllabus is this one. This is the first equation in biology syllabus, the photolysis equation. So, the photolysis equation, this is the first one in biology syllabus. Let me give you the last one. Here topic ya support and movement na ile equation ndio. Equation inaishia kwa response. Sawa? Unaona hii? The equation at the synapse where transmission of impulse occurs. This is the last equation in biology synapse. Sasa get the 22 in between them. Sasa mwingine alikuwa anasema for. Ukienda tu pale kwa disaccharide. Glucose plus glucose is equal to maltose plus water. Hiyo ni equation number 2 from the photolysis one, sindio? Fructose plus glucose is equal to sucrose plus water. Number 3, sindio? Galactose plus glucose is equal to lactose plus water. Number 4. Plus this one is 5. Where we go to say they are true. Now here to one topic in form 1. Now, go and look at all those biological equations that remain. Let me look at, now this is, let me look at the second last item. Sasa tukaribu kumaliza. Second last item here. And this is what I'm going to call topic norms in biology. Topic norms. topic norms in biology. Now, what do I mean by topic norms? What I mean here is that in every topic in biology, there are specific areas that when examiners set that topic, they will always mention. And why would they pick on those areas? Because they know students are likely to make mistakes in those areas. So, I am going to choose 2 topics to talk about topic norms. The rest, you will look by yourself. Now, let me pick the first topic, classification 2. Unajua hii classification ya form 3. That is what we are calling classification 2. It is a very popular area where examiners concentrate on specific areas they know you are going to make mistakes in. Higher. What are those areas? Let me start by definition of binomial nomenclature. Hapa ndio wanafunzi wanafanya kosa kweli kweli. What is binomial nomenclature? What is binomial nomenclature? Yes? Is that? The double-naming system of living organisms. I want to follow your definition. Huh? So therefore that is a scientific name. Why that friend of mine? That one is a scientific name. I am talking about this one. The one I have just written here. Is this a scientific name? But you have said scientific name is the double naming system. Yes.
Binomial nomenclature. The double naming system, where an organism is given 2 scientific names, that is the genus and the species.
Then, even if you ask, name the bacteria or name the organism from the root nodules of legume, rhizobia must be in capital. Rhizobium bacteria. So this rhizobium must be in capital. So, let me jump to excretion and homeostasis. Here I'm not going to write much. I'll just guide you where necessary. So, when someone asks you to describe the process of urea formation in the liver, if you say that urea is formed from amino acids, that amino acids are deaminated in the liver, where amino group is produced in the form of ammonia, while carboxyl group is converted to glucose. Ammonia, being poisonous, is subjected to ornithine cycle catalyzed by enzyme cogenase, in which it is reacted with carbon dioxide to form urea plus water. Here is 0. Do you know why it is 0? From excess amino acid. So the word excess must be there. Okay? The rest now remains correct. Another one in this topic, when you are asked to describe the role of mammalian skin in thermoregulation, don't say that when the body temperature is high or when the body temperature is low. Instead of saying high, say when the body temperature rises above the normal range. So, don't say the body temperature is high. A biology question. And they are going to say biology question has got 3 parts. 1, request. 2, stand. and 3 mark node. Okay? So what is a request? Right there that it is a command word used to introduce the demand. It is a command word used to introduce the demand. Command word used to introduce a demand. Command word used to introduce a demand. Command word used to introduce a demand. E.g., let me give example of the request. State, identify, give, explain, describe, account for. Those are what we call the request in biology question. Those words that you use to introduce a demand. What about the stem? What is a stem? Part of the question that reveals the demand. Part of organelles, ribosomes. So the stem of the question, if you don't grasp the stem of the question, you will be irrelevant. Yes. So anytime the examiner asks you about organelles, check, go and analyze the word organelle. Now, is it in plural form or singular form? Determine that first before you give the answer. Yes. Now, lastly, the last part of the question is macron. What is macron? Part of the question that reveals the number of responses required. Part of the question that reveals the number of responses to be required. Part of the question that gives the number of responses required. Part of the question that gives the number of responses required. Gives the number of responses required. So that macros you measure 3 marks, 1 mark. So I said that you give only what you are asked. Don't give more. So I think with that we are done as far as what I plan to discuss with you today is concerned. Now, from our discussion since morning, have you realized that biology is always very easy except that mistakes, the small mistakes that you make are the ones that deny you marks? Yes. Now what are we saying from now? What lesson should a Christian learn from that story? Therefore, sit down with her notes, read while following all those rules we have been discussing this morning. You know? Yes. Now, I want to warn you against this. In answering questions in biology, in revising biology or preparing for a biology exam, please don't read textbooks. Now, read the notes that your teachers gave you in class. Only use textbook when you are looking at the diagrams so that you can be able to name all parts of biological diagrams, and then also when you are checking some controversies in the spellings you have. Which should also be done by the help of the teacher or guidance of the teacher by the teacher. So you sit down with your biology notes, read them, follow those rules we have been discussing this morning, and where there are controversies, consult your teachers. Otherwise, I wish you well and every best of luck in your forthcoming exam. As we say, all is well that ends